Hello everyone, this is Remleiz from 40k Theories, and welcome to this newest episode of Adeptus Podcastus. Joining me as always is Tactica Imperialis.
For whom Remleiz is compensating with all the extra enthusiasm and energy. Hello.
Yes, you're very, very, very sleepy today, but I'm not surprised after the day you've had.
Yeah. Anyway, not getting into that.
No. We were supposed to have Darius Hinks joining us on the show today, but unfortunately he had to pull out at the last minute due to unforeseen circumstances, but we will endure to get him on a show in future at a future point in time.
Sorry.
So we apologise about that, but don't worry, we're not alone this week. For joining us once again this time around are Snipe Wib.
Essentially, the Adeptus Podcastus cover teachers.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? We love it, and it's cool.
Exactly.
You know, we're glad to be, the reserves that come in,
You know what we are? There's that really fun comic I remember, seeing. You know how there was the whole joke of, the Emperor and the Chaos Gods get together and play Risk. And then there was, Gork and Mork just in the corner. And the Emperor's like, Gork and Mork, please leave. And they're like, no, we're Gork and Mork.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I apologise about messaging you at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, hey, can you come on the show?
It's okay. I was playing, an anime dating sim, and I was like, yes, bro, we're there.
Fair enough.
Was it the one with the pigeons?
No, unfortunately. I was playing Honey Pop because I played Honeycam Studio loads.
Whoa, actually, sorry, I'm going to do a minor plug here. One of my old friends from uni has done a video on that on their, channel, and oh god, that game scares me.
Which one,
what
Honey
they've said
Pop?
about from what they've said about it, that game is not
Well,
fun.
it's basically an anime dating sim where the people, the characters actually feel like people instead of just, oh, I'm anime trope number 3, the tsundere, or whatever.
They seem to be that when they did their review, because they were coming at it from a perspective of a non-binary person looking at it from the outside in and looking for all of that stuff, it just looked... Oh, it didn't look fun. They spent 25 minutes dissecting it, and I felt so sorry for them afterwards. But
in fairness, it could have been Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh, I'm not playing that one.
One that leaves you with childhood trauma at the end, but anyway.
We're going to move past that now, because you didn't come for anime, you came for some Warhammer, so let's talk about some Warhammer. I need to talk about Warhammer, I haven't enough Warhammer.
The retention rate will just plummet now, because everyone's like, oh, I thought it was going to be about anime, sod this.
I can't wait until we have the anime special Podcastus, where no 40k is discussed whatsoever. It's pure anime the whole way down.
That's what we're all waiting for.
Just wait for when they announce a 40k anime. Anyway, yes, Remleiz,
Yes.
to you.
In the news this week, under this week, but who gives a fuck? I don't care. But anyway, 40k anime. No, just kidding. Yes.
私はセルスティーンよ。好きに変わっておしよきょ
From there, for Caitlin from Warp Time Radio just dropped in.
I know,
no,
we're basically the same person, but she's way cooler.
Yeah, I don't think that... I haven't heard Neve speak like that, but... yeah.
Oh, you haven't heard her doing the uwu speak while reading Draco, have you?
I saw a very funny comment on the previous episode. It was like, Zoran, be thankful you're on Tactica's channel, because Remleiz would have introduced her by saying, and this week we have Zorwin the Bear, or whatever, or however you fucking say it with the uwu speak. In reference to the fact that you dunk all over him.
Or as he says, it's just W's. But anyway, Horus Heresy Book 9 dropped today, in fact. My copy hasn't arrived yet, though. Damn it. But never mind. But apparently,
Speak to their manager, Rem. This is unacceptable.
Is my name Karen?
Yes. Karen Remleiz.
It's quite funny, everyone thought Adeptus Podcastus 100 was a massive clusterfuck, and we got 4 minutes in, and I already swear we're nearly as bad as the breaking of the Fresh Sorcerer.
we haven't got to the Frederick standards yet, don't worry.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the only thing that I've ever full-blown censored.
Oh my god, memories. Oh no.
But
That
anyway,
was 10
going
weeks
back
ago.
to the news. Going back to the news so we can keep some semblance of order. Yes. So yeah, apparently Night Lord's got a buff with the drop of Crusade. Sevatar actually gets a 2+ save now, apparently.
God, they needed it. Night Lords were garbage by most people's measurements, I believe.
Yeah, so welcome buffs are welcome. Also, at the time of recording from tomorrow, the next set of the Bandai Primaris action figures will go on pre-order. The Imperial Fist and the Salamander.
AKA, why don't they have chainsaws? The bolt rifle's too big in one hand. It was quite funny. I was talking about this on my Discord. People were saying that it just looks really... Because the bolt rifle is so much longer than the bolt gun, which is quite stub. The carbine just looks so long that it's like... You're not questioning that a Space Marine can do it. It just looks weird.
It just looks a bit silly.
And since they've just, announced, and admittedly Bandai will have made these ages ago, but the fact that they've just revealed, hey, here are Space Marines with pistols and chainswords. What are you going to give us? One-handed bolters? Okay.
I mean, there is the option to actually, set the hands up so it's holding it in both hands. In fairness.
No, that's not the way it works. You see, that image, that's the only pose it has. Obviously. Come on, Ram. Get good. But yeah, I don't think the angle helps much either, because holy hell.
Yeah, the pictures they've shown do sort of accentuate it quite a bit.
It looks like, that time when you photoshopped my hand so they were like 8 times the size? That's what it looks like, but with guns. It's out of proportion and silly is what I'm saying.
I will say this as someone who actually has the Ultramarine one already. In hand, it's actually not that bad. I think it's one of those things where it just looks worse in promo pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really do want one. I think the Salamander's really cool. I
do like the fact that they've given the Imperial Fist an auxiliary grenade launcher, though I can't help but feel the Salamander should have had a flamer of some kind.
Can't be flamers every time.
Yeah. I mean, he's got like a flaming leggy.
Yeah, although to be really, really picky about it, there's actually like a really bad bit of paint damage on the model that they're showing of the Salamander. Like half the paint off the skull looks to be missing.
There's multiple skulls, dear.
Do you remember when they first showed the promo pictures of the Ultramarine when it was kneeling down and the arm was out of its bloody socket?
Oh yeah, I remember that actually, now you say it. I remember that.
Realistic battle damage, it's fine.
That only works if it's a Crimson Fist, though.
Okay, that's absolutely true. Yeah, I'm a fake fan, I'm sorry, I'll leave.
Yes, how dare you be the fake gamer girl lady friend?
I know, right? I'm rolling my eyes and I hate this geek shit, apparently.
It's because you drew a picture of someone with hair for teeth, that's why.
Yeah, no, that is one of my sins I shall never escape.
But yeah, I do really like saying, them. What the hell are you talking about hair teeth?
I feel like they could be a bit more customized.
Well, aren't they also releasing a plain version that you can paint yourself?
I believe
that. So, yes.
Yeah, they did say that.
They did, yeah.
Like, they said that ages ago, I think.
I mean, to be fair, 40k fans are miniature painters.
And they will always repaint.
And they will always repaint things, so...
Yeah.
But I guess it's nice to just have one that's, explicitly for that purpose.
Mm.
Yeah, I hope if and when they do release the customizable and they give you the option of what bolter you want with it. Ooh, so if you want that one that's from the Salamander's one, because it has the cathedral-style arches, have that so you can make a Black Templar, for example.
No, that would be really cool.
The other thing to note with these is that they are going to be a very limited run. So by the time this show comes out, so their pre-order is Saturday the 12th, which is Saturday just gone, and they're only going to be available for a week.
Jesus.
So they're going to stop on the 19th of Sep. So you've got 4 days from when this episode goes live if you're in the UK. But having said that, they're made to order. So everyone's going to get one, because the problem they had last time was that the Ultramarines sold out.
Yeah, even though that was made to order as well.
They did say they won't ship them until next year. They've also said that.
Bloody hell. I mean, to be fair, with the whole world ending and pandemic and everything, that's completely reasonable, and I get it.
I also want to point out, a whole bunch. There were a bunch of people who said that the cost of the Ultramarine model was very expensive because it was about £85. But I do want to point out that it was far cheaper getting it from Games Workshop than, say, somewhere like Big Bad Toy Store, because Big Bad Toy Store was charging $220.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, that makes Tetris look good. I'll get there.
Yes, sneaky for later to come, but anyway. Yeah, $220 from Big Bad Toy Store.
Blimey hell.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably going to hold out for the paint your own one, because I think a lot of people probably will be as well. Because, as much as... Sorry, Cam.
Go on.
I was saying, as much as, the Imperial Fist and the Ultramarine and the Salamander are cool, I want to paint my arm.
You want to have your Space Wolf, don't you?
I want my space puppy, yeah.
I get, it is kind of like, if they did do something like a Space Wolf, then...
It would be nice if they had like a fur or something.
If they had something. Because as you say, because the only difference they've had between the 3 Marines have been the gun.
I think that's pretty much the reason why they haven't done like a Space Wolf or a Blood Angel or a Raven Guard. Because they all have to have the unique parts of the body, like, Space Wolf's got to have his, his wolf and Viking stuff. Blood Angel's got to have all the, it's got to have his nipples, and the Raven Guard's got to have the beaky helmet.
I
think
understand.
that's probably just too expensive to do. I think just a minor variation on the bolt is just cheaper to do in regards to retools.
I guess we're just going to have to get the paint your own and just spend about, I don't know, 50 quid on green stuff.
That being said, they could still do a Dark Angel, though.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. But then again, I think maybe they probably wouldn't, just because it's, like, colour-wise quite similar to the Salamander, so...
Oh, they have given the Salamander a knife, I've just noticed.
It's a really cool knife. That's a knife that means business.
They could always do an Iron Hand as well, so...
Yeah, exactly.
And his colour scheme won't clash with ours because it'll be in black and silver, so... Yeah.
But in the land of action figures, there has been a little more than just Bandai playing around, as Green Wolf Studios have previewed the first figure in their Astra Militarum action figure range.
Which looked like proper old-school G.I. Joes.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking more Action Man, but...
That's the same kind of thing.
No, it is the same thing, because Action Man's just the English name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, why did he look like the dad from The Nanny with his face scar?
What?
Action Man. He looked like the dad from The Nanny.
Okay. I've never seen an episode of it. So...
Well, just Action Man.
Okay.
But he's a person, and that's the dad from The Nanny.
Right.
See, Remleiz has got it covered. See, there he is. There's the dad from The Nanny.
That's the Cadian Snipe.
No, that's the dad.
Okay, let's
Mr. I can't remember his name.
Move past this.
Can we just admit, though, taking a moment to appreciate, the huge bit of bling he's got round his neck?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't be a
Bling still a
heretic.
thing? Is that still a term
so.
for use?
If
Also,
he
is
jumped...
that a fucking bike chain holding that up? That is ratchet, and, like, I dig it, because it's got, like, the whole, like, I want to see his Etsy store, Where he's, like, selling, like, I Heart the Emperor, like, embroidered patches and stuff.
Yeah, with that thing, if he jumps, he's going to concuss himself.
Maybe that's why he's so cranky. Because he's already done it twice today.
That's where the scar on his face comes from.
Getting Beastie Boy vibes from it now as well.
Oh, yeah. He's like, you gotta fight for your right for, I don't know, the Emperor.
You gotta fight for the Emperor.
And just chainswords revving.
But all jokes aside, it is very good. All jokes aside, it's very
detailed,
good.
yeah. Like, ridiculously detailed. But they got added stubble to the fucking face. That's awesome.
I will be intrigued to see how the final ones look, though.
Yeah.
Because the level of detail on this is kind of outrageous, and like the level of weathering on everything.
Yeah.
I will say that this, if the final product is this detailed, it's probably going to be ridiculously expensive as well.
Oh,
Well,
that's going to be about $225.
Well, they say there's a Kickstarter on the 2nd of October around this model. So that would probably be the best way to know what it's going to cost, is because I think it's involved in that Kickstarter.
Yeah. I mean,
£5,000.
Honestly, something like that, you're looking at probably 6, like depending on how tall it is. Does it say how big it's going to be?
12 inch.
12 inches. Okay.
So it's pretty big.
So it's pretty big. So yeah, maybe like 300 quid.
I don't think that much.
Well, I mean, it's 40k. It's a short run thing.
I'd say it'd be at least 150.
At least, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at that kind of going, I tend to really dislike action figures with cloth clothing, because it always ends up sitting really wrong because it doesn't have the weight kind of like distribution like say a person wearing clothes, so it tends to sit up.
The cloth operates different at different scales.
Yeah,
so.
but no, this. I mean, I know this is like the biggest, fanciest, nicest way it'll ever look, but it still looks like it's like the cloth is working for it pretty well. Although it really bugs me that his left sleeve is up and I see the weird ball joint in his wrist, and it's making me feel all sorts of squiggly, and I don't like it.
Actually, is that a Reveltech joint?
I don't know.
It's either a Reveltech joint or it's a dumbbell joint.
That's what I was thinking.
Sorry, there are certain bits of processes I do not understand, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
If you don't know anything about toy joints, just go and watch Jobby the Hong. There you go. He does good stuff. He's a good boy.
Okay.
Also, it comes with some decent accessories as well. I'm looking forward to the repaints on this one.
I don't think anyone would dare after how much it's probably going to cost.
There's always someone.
Well, yeah.
Can you imagine if they sold like accessory pairs, like different outfits?
Basically, it's like Barbie, but it's like you could get like different uniforms. So you could get like the sexy Cadian costume, or like the one.
Can we have just the Kata-chan one, which admittedly you could just do by like getting any given vest from like a Ken doll?
Well, the thing is, you could just take, because it's cloth, you could just take his shirt off. Do you think he's got like you could like paint chest hair on him and stuff, and paint like, I don't know, like Slam Sector as like a tattoo on his shoulder or something? You
could.
That'd be cool. See, there's two kinds of people when it comes to incredibly expensive model repaints, which is the kid whose parent just throws money at them and then they just dump it in a bucket of emulsion, or there's like the golden demon like lunatic who comes out with the most beautiful fucking paint job, and I can't wait to see both of them.
And do you know what? It's going to be one of the latter who's going to turn this into fucking Commissar Gorn.
Yeah. Oh, that would be cool. But they need like neon paint for the eyes, because they always make his eyes like glow in the dark green. It's so weird.
No, what they'll do like that one guy does with his Crimson Fist Primaris Marines and just replace the eyes with LEDs.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Just with bright green LEDs.
See, that's why he gets laid, because he's got like laser eyes, and they're like, you know what? That's really sexy. We should do a sex about it. And because I mean, like, come on, who wouldn't have like LEDs implanted in their irises if it was possible? I mean, it is possible, but it's like you can only do it once, and it's probably not very good for your eyesight. But like, if you could do it without incident, I think everyone would be having it.
I mean, there was that one Swedish guy who had like a prosthetic eye and you put an LED in the prosthetic.
Okay, that's amazing.
So he's just walking around at night with one glowing red eye like the fucking Terminator.
What is this, Commissar Yarrick?
Oh, I love his laser eye.
It's so
dumbest thing. I love it.
Everything about him is so dumb, and I love it.
I mean, is it as dumb as the rebel grots in Diggernob coming from an area called Skid Row?
I mean,
so basically, when a rebel grots are riding up on their cutters and that, they're playing like that. You call us problem child, we're gonna last on trial. You're the youth gone wild.
Animator, flip that.
I've pretty much my stance is when you're looking at anything from Games Workshop from especially before about 98. If you look at it and you go, that sounds like a reference, it 100% is. And it will always be to the stupidest goddamn thing.
Actually, what was the date on this? Does it say? Where's the copyright date? No, but it is written by Gav Thorpe, though, so you can take a shot.
Gorka Morka's 97.
Yeah, but this is Digging Up. This is the supplement, so that came out later.
Yeah.
I thought it came out the same year.
I think it might have came out the year after.
Oh, okay.
98.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Though speaking of GW making references, shall we talk about today's Welcome Your New Necron Overlords article, where they just decided to fully wholesale copy I for one welcome our new robot Overlords, but change it to Necron?
I'm okay with it. Because it's
to be honest,
hey,
there's not a lot here to say, because, it's just a little bit of quick lore about some of the most famous Overlords, so I'm not really going to say anything about it. It's just, we talked about making references, and if it is a reference, if you think it sounds like a reference, it's a reference. Therefore, I mentioned it.
Though I was kind of disappointed the other day when they put a thing up saying, like, famous crusades, and you had, like, the Great Crusade, that's a given. The Sabbat Worlds Crusade, okay. The Macarian Crusade, makes sense. The Black Templars, that's not a crusade, that's a chapter that goes on crusades.
It's called if we're going to be picky, they call that the Eternal Crusade.
I know, but they didn't even call they just put down the Black Templars. They didn't even call
the Black Templars are basically just a crusade that just never
the
stops.
collective noun for a group of Black Templars is a crusade.
I mean,
It is.
yes.
Yeah. See, like, usually when I say something esoteric, it's like, no, this is legit, though. But yeah, they could have maybe formatted that a little bit less silly.
It may have been the joke.
Speaking of collective nouns for a group of people, I recently learned what the collective noun for wanker is.
Wonkers?
No, a bolus.
A bolus of wankers.
A bolus of wankers.
Like a bolus is in like the bit of rope with two weights that you trip people up with?
I'm not sure about that, but it's like BOLUS.
Oh, okay. Is it not BOLAS? Okay. So that
It's a type of apparently it's a type of digestive term in medicine.
Huh.
Oh.
Okay. See, I would have gone with a gaggle of wankers.
No, apparently the term is a bolus of wankers.
Well, you know what? I'm going to use that, and then I'm going to feel very smart.
Just like how a collective group of crows is called a murder.
Or apparently a collective noun for a group of bunnies is called a fluffle.
Which is adorable.
That is very cute. Yeah. It's not like I can't remember what it is. I think it's like a group of like vultures as a congress or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Admittedly, a lot of these kind of collective noun things are...
Just feel like in-jokes with like animal scientists.
The amount of which they are true is often variable.
I thought the corrective term for a group of vultures was called a solicitor's office.
Yeah, that too.
But that being said, I did like the new DuckTales, where his business partners were vultures. Like, nice look and such. Anyway.
I'm still very annoyed that they haven't put anything beyond Season 1 on Disney+. I'm very annoyed.
I haven't paid for Disney Plus, so I can't say. Anyway, moving on before we get distracted even more. I was going to say before we get dissected even more, but yeah, it's probably just me right now. Put that knife down. Put that cigarette out as well. Anyway, what else was there?
So tomorrow, of the date of recording, because we're recording this on the Friday, there is a new Codex Preview, where they're going to be showing off the inside of the new Necron and Space Marine codices to see how the 9th edition codices are going to look. They also promised new models. Now, what those new models will be is unclear, as far as I'm aware, all the leaked Necron and Space Marine models have now been revealed. So I am curious as to what is actually left for them to show, or are they going to skip past Necrons and Space Marines and start showing off, oh, I don't know, that Orc, or that new Lilith Hesperax that's definitely Lilith Hesperax, or that new Death Guard, or whatever. So we'll be interested to see what they're going to show off. And we did see a rumour engine on the 1st of September, which looked like the grabber claw of a Death Killer Wartrike more than a power claw, but it kind of could be used the same way. So maybe we're going to see some orcs tomorrow.
Or this is where they cash in on the hints they've been dropping in Psychic Awakening and give us a preview of the upcoming squat range.
I think it's too... You see, I'd love them to do that, but I think it's too soon. And I'll tell you what. Because September has been Lumineth month. We'll get back to Lumineth. October is when the new codices are going to drop. And then at some point they've got to sneak in the Sons of Behemoth somewhere. And they've got to get probably something else done. Maybe they'll get House of whatever Orlok is. I've forgotten and I can't remember to care. House of Iron, thank you. And then it's Christmas. I don't think there's room and sufficient hype for a Squats release.
They could drop them out at Christmas and all disguised as Santa.
You see, what I think they might do is I would not be surprised that now the Lumineth are out. If they reveal Squats, which they might, then I think they would do it through a series of like the Lumineth Lowdowns or the Battle Sister, whatever they called them. So like bi-weekly articles building the hype. So they wouldn't drop them for like 6 or 7 months and just build hype slowly. From like a January reveal, we come into the fresh new year and the big LVO reveal, because LVO is around January, so the artificial LVO preview, as it would have been, becomes Squats. That's the big highlight of the show. Last year it was Lumineth, this year it's Squats. And then bang, they've got 3 to 6 months to build, and then bang, have these Squats in summer. They're the big release of the summer, just before or just after AOS 3, depending on if you're dropping AOS 3.
Because to be honest, I part of me thinks that GW have been kind of like hesitant in doing anything with Squats, period. And they just initially did that one for Necromunda saying, let's see how this one goes. Let's see how people actually react to it. And then everyone literally lost their shit when they dropped the trailer for the squat. Everyone went fucking berserk. And I was like, yes! And Games were just like, people actually want squats. All right, let's make some squats.
I mean, the thing is, like, because, they, as I'm sure most people listening will know, the reason why squats went was just because no one in the design office really knew what to do with them. They were just like,
The models were, like, all biker themed, but the lore was all, like, Viking themed, so it's like it didn't really mesh.
Yeah, and it's like, they managed to get them to work in Epic, but they could never really settle on how they should function as an actual army, like, what their shtick should be. And they could never really figure that out, and that's the main reason why they just kind of slowly disappeared throughout sort of second edition. Like, oh yeah, we'll give them rules, but like...
I mean, I'd say sod squats, nobody wants them. Let's just bring Zotes in.
I mean, what you mean is a full army?
Yeah, like a full army. Like, they need to be the next heavy hitter in 40k.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, the thing is, like, you watch, because, like Games Workshop does listen to this podcast, and they are subscribed to me on YouTube, and they constantly send me emails telling me that they're in love with me as a corporation, not just as a person.
Are you sure this isn't just James Workshop?
No, although, but yeah. So I can see this is the way it's going.
Okay.
So obviously it's way better, and Zotes are way more interesting than squats.
Before
Hit me up for the Codex art design. I've got a great piece waiting.
If we are going to go with having squats again, I am sort of genuinely curious as to how they are going to work them, because obviously there's a lot of niches you can have now. Like, the game is so open to lots of different play styles now.
Yeah.
And the scale of it is so much greater than when they were last in the game. So I will be intrigued to see if they do come back and how they will manifest if they do.
I think it would be fun because, there's the whole, explosion of nostalgia. And plus, they could literally just sit there and go, okay, what niche needs to be filled? Let's just do that and have fun with it, which, honestly, it would be nice to see.
I'm also kind of surprised, the attention that they get because, I guess because I sort of exist on, my connection with the 40k community is based largely around, people who are really into it. So they're, of course, very aware of squats and what they are and what they were, and they've taken on this mythological kind of thing. But I often wonder, how the average player who is maybe not quite so obsessive. How excited would they be for the return of the squats? How does this thing work? I mean, I guess that, Sisters of Battle getting their full, redo kind of shows that regardless of how many people they are, that nostalgia can make them a lot of money. It shifts units. So, I mean, I guess there's enough people, but yeah. Squats are cool. I want them back. I want new exosuits. I love those exosuits.
So you can have I can't remember, the egg folk.
The yolk folk from the Disney series.
From the Disney series. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a reference that literally everyone will get.
Yes.
Yep.
So you want the exosuits back. I want them to bring on the tabletop, a 40k scale Cyclops.
Yes.
I'm not talking about a Greek monster. I'm talking about the big tank that the squats had in Epic, which was basically just a big Titan-grade weapon sitting on tank treads.
Can we have the land trains as well? That'd be cool.
Oh, that's a given. We should have them regardless.
Oh, I guess you could. That's actually something which they could be sold. They could be really cheeky and sell those modular. So you'd buy one that would be the front of the train, and then you could gradually put things on it.
That would be awesome. And you know what? I imagine if they ever did that, someone's going to add a fucking motor to each of them to have a little remote control land train going beep beep.
Yeah.
Or toot toot or whatever it is. Toot toot Sonic Warriors and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No one's going to get that reference.
After saying that, I don't want to be nickel and dimed on individual trailers on a train. I'm using a
each train is
Hornby
the
train.
size of a Warhound Scout Titan, then it's kind of okay, I suppose. Because you're basically getting 5 Titans stuck together, so it makes sense to buy them separately.
But I want it. I don't care how much they screw me out of money for doing it. I want it.
It's important.
Please make
I want it.
Games Workshop, please. I know you're listening.
And they've got to sell, the actual... No, the models have actually got to have, full detailed interiors like with the Tau Manta. With little squat crewmen running around and stuff. Maybe a little buffet car with a little bar in it.
Oh,
that would be amazing.
Sake.
And they're all eating, trifle.
You can have a throne with one of the living ancestors in it,
We all know that squads only eat algae and beer.
Yeah, and you can make some really banging algae trifle.
And that's actually canon, by the way, the whole algae thing. That's literally what squats use. They basically grind up to make flour and they ferment it to make beer.
What else do you need apart from flour and beer? That's all the food
No,
groups.
you need algae and beer. There's your greens and there's your ale. That's all you need. It's fine. Maybe that's why they did. Nothing to do with Tyranids. It's just, they all died of malnutrition because that's all they fucking ate. Yeah.
Anything else in the news? And I apologise because the dog started barking about a squirrel or something.
It's all good. It's all good.
Show dog.
So anything else in the news?
Yes. So the final Blackstone Fortress Ascension has come out. Though I'm afraid I have not got a clue how it plays or any of the lore involved because I've been a bit busy. We have the return of Catachan Sergeant, what's her name, Jackson, is going to be released in Warhammer stores. And so now that every single Warhammer store has closed and reopened, every store is getting one. They're available in Warhammer stores from the 12th to the 20th of September. So you've got until the end of this week from the date of release. And then it will then go on the website if you do miss out.
Oh god, I was worried because I hate that short run stuff because I always get that. Like when we went to get our Eisenhorn model, we literally got the last one, and we were there half an hour early. We did the whole lining up with a cuppa from Greg's, complaining to the other people because they Google also told them that it opened a way different time.
But then that thing just went on general sale afterwards.
Yeah.
I was like, do you guys remember when you went to Warhammer World to pick up that limited edition of Horus Rising for me? And you didn't even get in the store before they sold out.
Yeah. I literally was like, hey, you got one? And the guy was like, no. We sold that 2 hours ago. And I'm like, dude, you opened an hour ago. And he's like, I know. And he looked like he'd seen fucking hell. Oh my god.
How many times did we go to Warhammer World to try and get that damn thing?
3.
It's 3 times.
I mean, I need a fucking excuse to go to Warhammer World anyway.
In fairness, I did pay for your petrol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, we were... Oh my god, now I feel really horrible. Shut up, Remleiz. Mean.
No, it was a weird time, that was.
It was so strange. But again, I was just happy to go to Warhammer World.
Yeah, it was fine.
Get me a Bugman's burger because holy shit, that will feed you for the rest of the day.
Did you have the fat bloke?
Did I have a what?
Did you have the fat bloke burger?
No. What's that? Is it just... Is it where a Rubenesque gentleman comes out and I eat the burger off him?
Nah, it's named after the old editor of White Dwarf.
Yeah,
See, I knew that, but I was being intentionally facetious. So.
Yeah.
Of course.
But no, I think I just have I can't even remember what it is, but it's just a big cheeseburger with bacon on it.
Hang on,
Yeah.
I'll get you a picture of the quote unquote the fat bloke burger, which is
The flat boke burger.
Yes, I know it's Flat Fuck Fridays, but who cares?
It's flat.
I admit, I'm really looking forward to, once things have settled down a bit, going to Warhammer World. Now that I've moved down toward Nottinghamshire, I'm a lot closer to it now.
We have to go and then have the fat bloke burger.
Yeah, it's
just have a
we just
game.
get a YouTuber convention, get Tactica, Snipe and Wib, Scarlet and Storm, and everyone else. Just bring flipping Thunder and White up from Norfolk and all that while we're at
Norwich.
it.
They're in Norwich.
Bring in
they're in Norfolk.
Caitlin. With Caitlin, Scarlett and I are just going to be drinking vodka slushies on the side. Because
We'll see.
that's just what we do.
Also, I apologize how long this is taking to send a picture of a burger, but it's a massive file for some reason.
I love it how...
That's how big the burger is, even the file's massive.
this JPEG's a gig and a half, because that's just how delicious and large the burger
It's like
is.
the pictures you get from the Hubble Space Telescope when you download the uncompressed versions.
I mean, it's 3,500 pixels by like 2,500 pixels, and the upload failed. Typical. Let's try again.
That's fine.
I will send you this burger.
Send me the burger.
You'll get there in the end.
Yeah, I'm waiting patiently for the
This
burger
is
picture.
fantastic podcast content, waiting for a burger image to appear that you don't even get to see.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
That's the... Oh my... Okay, no, we need to talk about this fucking picture. Where did you get this image from?
From Google.
Okay, whoever the fuck took this picture has a problem. That is like 14 empty ketchup packets in the middle of the fucking table.
I don't think they're actually empty.
Oh my god, that's even worse. Also, is that like, it's got onion rings, onion, bacon? Is that hash fucking brown? Oh my Christ.
I think so,
That's
yeah.
like a full breakfast.
There's a
in
lot
burger.
going on in that burger.
I mean, there's a reason it's called the Fat Bloke.
It's because it's a very chunky burger.
I mean, do you remember when
Yeah.
we did the Slime Arbo? But it was either Slime Arbo burger or the Slime Arbo hot dog. Yeah, it was a Slime Arbo hot dog. Do you remember that?
I don't know, but I kind of wish I'd had it just so I could have been like, oh!
That's the biggest
Oh my
resolution
God.
picture I can find.
Okay, so the Fat Bloke burger, you get like a 4 gig NASA picture of it that takes like 10 minutes to upload. The Slime Arbo is like 10 by 60 pixels.
It's almost like they're accounting for the size of the burger and the size of the JPEG. Yay.
But yeah, no, the Slime
Anyway.
Arbo looks very tasty.
In fairness, you can always try the Ogre Burger Challenge.
Oh god, okay. What's that then?
I will send you a picture because it. This
Oh
was-
no.
This is a section of a podcast that, like, if Snipe did it on our podcast,
He would be throwing stuff at me.
I'd say, stop doing this. Stop
But no, I
sending
want to see the
images.
pictures of the burger.
People can't see the images.
Remleiz.
This is not
Did it
podcast
send?
material.
Remleiz, we need to have our own podcast where you just send me images and I react to them without describing them.
You do realise all he would do is spam you with Battenberg. You realise that, don't you?
Okay, you know what? Podcast is cancelled. Friendship with Remleiz is over.
Anyway, one thing that since we're talking about burgers, we can talk about the upcoming Cow Elves. We'll go with that as a segue and bring it back to the Warhammer. Sorry, that's a terrible joke, but I'm going with it because I've got nothing better.
No, it was amazing and I'm just mad that I didn't think of it.
So yes,
Let's move on.
We are just chewing the cud here, so we should probably
So
continue.
yes, the Lumineth Realm Lords had their first wave of releases last week and is getting their second wave of pre-orders, which are coming out next week. So they are pretty much going to be all out by the end of the upcoming weekend. And I have opinions, so I wanted to talk about the fact I have opinions
Picture
about this.
sent.
Oh my god, that burger! I'm sorry, Tack, that's very cool, but this... Oh my god. That is... Oh, I need that. I need to have... Is it the Ogre Challenge?
Yep.
Yeah, I need to do that. Sorry, Tack, please continue.
Back to the Cow Elves, which were used to make this burger.
Well, to be fair, actually, the Spirit of the Mountain is carved from like either quartz and rock rather than beef. But you know, we'll go with the meme anyway because it works. So yes, the first wave of Lumineth included Teclis, the Pikemen, or I call them the Hoplites because they're basically Hoplites. The Archers, the Pillar Dice, which were a thing. The Endless Spells and the Battle Tome. Now, the Pillar Dice were weird, but, you know, it's elves. Being weird is normal.
In fairness, I like
they're
those
just-
dice, and they actually could be used to make some pretty decent scenery as well, probably.
Oh, God, yeah, like, I'm tempted to buy a set just as pillars for some of my elven scenery. But
And they're like an old style of dice anyway. Like in India, they there's a handful of games that just use like dice like that and have done for like centuries.
Yeah, but they're still fun and cool.
Like we've got some like crystal dice. We've got a D20 like that. It was just weird when everyone was like making a big deal about it. I was like, oh, but
Well,
they just exist.
maybe like everyone else who is making a big deal out of it is a normal person who doesn't spend every pound of like disposable income they have on Warhammer or dice. Maybe. Oh my god,
Yeah.
stop sending me like pictures of burger pornography, Remleiz.
But where I actually draw the line with the Lumineth is with the Hoplites and the Archers. Now, Teclis came out and is £105 UK. Now, for context, that is the single most expensive single miniature not named Smaug that GW sells, not counting Forge World, because Forge World's a different product.
Hang on, is he more expensive than Archaon?
By £5, yes.
Jesus.
Yep. So Archaon is 100, Nagash I think is 95, Ilariel and Marathi are 85. They're sort of his nearest competitors. But having said that, the Techless model is A, huge, B, a technical challenge to assemble because, you know, that blooming guy's flying for no good reason.
C T-posing to assert his dominance.
Yes, the T-posing in the pyjamas do not do him well, but here we are. So 105 is bad. I expected him to be more like 90. But what I have a problem is the infantry, because these infantry are 10 infantry on a 32mm base for £36.50.
Tumbleweed.
That's it, that's the tweet. But to explain it, I did a whole thread on this, unpacking it on my Twitter, but essentially, witch elves were generally regarded as my gold standard of absolutely cocking overpriced nonsense. Because they were 10 infantry on 25mm bases for £35 a box. But in that box, each witch elf, of which there were 5 duplicated, came with 2 weapon options for the witch elves and 2 weapon options to build Sisters of Slaughter. So each model got 4 different sets of arms, 2 different sets of heads, and 3 of them had a further command option on top. So actually, it's about 6 frames when you take the Witch Elves box. It's still 35 quid for 10 miniatures on 25s. I'm not saying it's good, it's still awful. But the new Lumineth are ridiculous. Because the Venari Orland Wardens, that's the hoplites. I've got that frame because it was in the starter box that they gave out like a month or so ago. And that frame is 3 frames, by which I mean 1.5 frames, duplicated. There are no alternate weapons, there are very few alternate heads, but you get 2 full sets of shields.
Wow.
No.
They shouldn't have.
So essentially, you're paying more for less with the Lumineth than you are for the Daughters. And you want to see the best comparison point? Idoneth Deepkin, because they have the same thing with the Namati Thralls and the Namati Reavers, because they are separate infantry kits for the archer unit and for the melee unit, with very few options really in there at all. There's a couple of alternate weapon options, it's not that many. But they're £30 a box. It's still not great, but it's a massive improvement over £36.50 when you want your army to be built around legions of 60 elves at a time. What?
I mean, I completely agree.
Apologies, headphone users.
No, that's okay.
I do feel that every now and again, Games Workshop do just go, shall we just take the piss and just see how it works? Like when the Primaris chaplain came out and it was like 22 quid or something.
Oh shit, it was £22.50.
Unless you're going through Conquest where you're going for like $7.99 instead.
Yeah, right.
But getting and having a single Space Marine miniature be that much money, like, took the absolute piss, but, you know, like, people paid for it and, you know, that
well,
sort
I mean,
of
it
prices.
was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So there's, like, the temptation there.
Yeah, and the biggest problem for me is the fact that there was a starter box of £110, which was the infantry, the cavalry, and the Lights of Eltharion, plus a limited edition Battletome that came out a month and a half in advance. So there's probably a number, because it's not a full number, because it never actually sold out as far as I recall. There is a number of Lumineth players, myself included, who bought the Lumineth box and thought, okay, so it's about £30 for the infantry, maybe £30 for the cavalry, and that'll be okay. So with the limited edition Battletome, that's decent. Suddenly, they're now staring down the barrel of paying £36.50 for 10 infantry that cost 130 flipping points. What?
Yep.
So basically what you're saying is that the Lumineth models are basically the Apple of elf products. Overly expensive with not much going on for them.
But the problem is that they are absolutely cocking gorgeous.
That's a fair point.
The cavalry are the best cavalry GW has ever done, not named Varangard. Fight me. The blooming Orland Wardens are amazing. The archers I've grown on. Teclis, I know not everybody likes Teclis, and I think the T-posing pyjamas do not do him any favours. But the Spirit of Hysh is it's absolutely amazing. And I'm scared, because tomorrow, the pre-order prices for the Alarith, the Battle Cattle and all that comes out. That Alarith model is going to be about the same as Marathi, and it's just dumb. And I'm terrified of what the Mega Gargants are going to cost when they come out. And I know that's an AOS rant, but think about that then in context of, imagine the Silent King was £110 and Assault Intercessors now cost, well, what do Intercessors cost these days, remind me?
I don't even know. Don't have any.
Fair
If it's
enough.
not a dreadnought, I don't care. So.
What are you, Kirioth?
Apparently?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when you said, like, we have too many dreadnoughts, I was half expecting Kirith's response saying, ha, amateurs.
Yeah,
he,
no,
he, he did respond in the comments, yes.
Yeah, we've been meaning to, like, when Warhammer World opens up again, we'll have to have, like, a game, like Dread v Dread Army, which would be
I
fun.
would like to see your pair of Dread armies go against each
Oh,
other.
it'd be fun. I mean, he thrashed me because, he actually knows what he's doing, but,
Yeah, but in fairness, you could have just thrown your metal Bjorn at his head.
Oh, Dread sock him? Yeah. I could.
Yes, yeah. Remleiz, we do not advocate murder on a public platform.
It's not,
see, I was
it's
gonna
not
say-
murder,
oh,
it's
it's
just
not-
a severe mauling.
He's just saying that, throw a metal dreadnought at someone's head in Minecraft.
I mean, I literally bought like a fucking, like a 4 kilo kettlebell, and I think that weighs about as much as my metal Bjorn.
Is yours the lead or pewter version?
I think because we got him second hand off eBay.
I think he's one of the later ones.
I think he's one of the later
so-
ones. Yeah.
Oh, so the pewter
So he's
ones,
not.
then.
Yeah, it'll be
He's
a
not
pewter
as
one.
heavy as he could be, but he's still pretty heavy.
I mean, we've got. I think that one of the worst ones you've got is that you've got a metal Canis Wolfborn.
I haven't touched because I nearly finished painting him years and years ago, but his paint just kept wearing off, and he was so awkward to hold, and it was just I hate metal models so much.
Because
They're horrible.
that was before painting, like the proper painting handles thing. So holding something with that bigger base is.
I literally
like,
would get like thumb cramps.
I just want to say,
honestly.
what do you find easier to deal with, metal or finecast?
Finecast. It's
Finecast.
not the nicest miniature in the world, but at least you can handle it without dying.
Yeah, and you can handle it without rubbing all the paint off certain parts as well.
For me, it
I mean,
depends
that's what you use
entirely.
varnish for afterwards. You paint it, then you varnish it to protect it.
I have never varnished them. The only thing I've ever varnished is a garden gnome I painted for my brother. And that's not a legal 40k unit.
Just spray it with a coat of Citadel matte varnish once you finish painting your metal model, and jobs are good.
Yeah, but the thing is, while I'm trying to finish it, I keep somehow wearing the paint off, so it's just, maddening.
To be fair, I used to hate metal models when I was first doing Warhammer in 98, 99. I hated metal models because they were just awkward to work with, and I was a shit painter, so
I mean, everyone, basically
always-
99.9% of people start playing 40k when they're 10.
Yeah, and it
No one is a good painter at 10.
And
that's fine.
it was really easy to scratch paint off in use and stuff because you're not as careful when you're younger as well. But these days, because I paint so much Rogue Trader stuff, I'm just used to painting metal models now.
There's a very weird angle and a humble brag right there.
It is. It's
I'm just so good at painting metal
no,
models.
it's not because it's because I've got used to doing it. It's not that I'm good at it. It's just I'm just. It's
You're used to
they're
this shit, I know.
they're a pain in the arse. But
In regards to
I'm
the
just-
metal
yeah.
models, do you find it easier to paint the pewter or the lead ones?
Honestly, I've never really noticed a significant difference painting them.
The lead ones are about brick, and pewter is less brick. And
I-
honestly, you can
But the lead ones are also softer.
Yeah, I mean,
so if you don't like the shape of that orc's face, just hammer it in.
they are easier to do that. They are easier to do that kind of stuff. Because metal models, when they get some real bad mold slippage on them, can be a real pain in the arse to fix up. But if it's the older, softer stuff, then it's not so big a deal. So, but of course, you do have to be a little bit more careful to not eat the bits that you remove from lead models.
I don't like how you're looking at me when you're talking about that. I have never eaten a lead model. This is a vicious falsification.
Apart from that time when in a video as a joke, you were putting a model in your mouth, and I had to tell you, no, don't do it with that one. That's a lead model.
Yeah.
Which is a real story, by the way, listeners.
That's a real story that did happen. Yeah. Because I honestly don't think anyone who's ever encountered me in any media, podcast, video, whatever, will be surprised that I've nearly ingested lead.
Yeah.
In fact, that'll probably explain a lot.
How many times have you put a model in your mouth in videos? It's like twice or something, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
When she's not looking, replace the model with a Battenberg.
I found a picture on my phone, like, from when, I think it was like one of our special videos we did ages and ages ago, where I just start stabbing a Battenberg over the credits. And there was like a picture that you'd taken of me, where I look like I have my hand over my face and it looks like I'm like crying, and I've just got this knife covered in Battenberg, and it's like the most intense fucking image, and I'm like, I don't remember this happening, but there it is.
Yeah, it's from the end of the second Rogue Trader video.
Beautiful.
Speaking of which, congratulations on your third Rogue Trader video. It seems like you've gone back to your roots on that one.
Thank you. Yeah, we were just like, the algorithm likes it, and plus we like it too, so it's a win-win all round.
And the release of 9th edition sort of gave us a good excuse, because we did our old ones when 8th was released, so it's like, this makes sense,
So,
let's do that.
when are you going to do your episode on Diggernob?
Whenever we can comfortably turn off comments and not have to worry about the algorithm.
You still want people
because-
spamming Diggernobs.
The comments will be so bad on that down one. Oh,
they
God.
would be.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah, I can look back through I think it's some of my Custodes videos, my Cartas Sicarius video. I think they're the main two ones that get slightly memed on. But to be fair, I don't get it half as bad as most people, because either most people don't watch it or most people don't care by comparison, because you get way more views. So I suppose you attract all the extra stuff as well as the hardcore fan base. So you get the memes on top.
We attract a diverse bunch. Actually, I think we sort of avoid a lot of memes because we do so much stuff on older 40k stuff, so our demographics are a bit older. I think that sort of helps. And
Yeah, it probably helps.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to the day that a student finds the channel who's also a fan of TTS and is like, "Sir, why haven't you been in TTS yet?" Just like, that's going to be that will be a random ass experience in the classroom. I'm just going to
that's a child.
That's going to be a hot take of like, "You what, mate?"
It's because of what Frederick said.
Yes.
But yes, if Alpha
great
is hiring for a
incident.
Farsight voice actor, let me know. But then again, Farsight, Alpha doing Japanese Farsight for Eliphas's video will probably never get old.
We've gone back to anime again, haven't we?
Yeah.
Quick,
I could just do the rest of the
quick
podcast
distract,
in my
salvage.
Uwu voice
Quick
if you
distract
like.
Snipe from anime to salvage the show.
Oh, so anyway, I was watching Sailor Moon reruns, and I don't watch the dubbed versions because I only watch subs.
Should we talk about some Horus Heresy dice?
Okay.
You know, there's some people who have drawn Sailor Moon as
Horus Heresy dice?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sailor Moon Horus Heresy dice, okay.
So
yeah.
each of the legions has got a unique set of dice for them, where they're including scatter dice. So they're designed for 30k as well, because they actually have a scatter dice in there. I know there'll be some of you watching who've never heard of a scatter dice because you've been on the hobby too little at a time.
Can we also take a moment to appreciate that while pretty much all the dice have this nice pearlescent sheen about them, how the Imperial Fist ones are just a flat banana yellow?
Yeah. To be fair,
what does pearlescent yellow even look like? Would it even look good?
Well, but you could do
it's
a pearlescent gold
basically
or something.
gold, but shit.
I mean, yeah, it is a bit.
I mean, we had this
flat
discussion
others.
in the Patreon Discord the other day in regards to it, and someone said, they couldn't do it because it looked too much like the Custodian dice. It's like, yeah, but look at the Raven Guard 9 Hands dice. They're exactly the fucking same apart from the symbols.
Yeah, honestly, I've seen better 40k dice and things like that on Etsy.
I do like how, because the World Eaters has to combine white and blue, it means their dice just become a kind of baby blue colour.
Yeah, but they also look like a really nice dessert with a strawberry in it.
That's true.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But yes, there are Horus Heresy dice, and I believe that if any of the old style Legion dice are still available, then they are going on the flipping cheap. So I was told by one of my subscribers, though. Then again, that was a week and a half ago by this point, so probably not anymore.
Wait a minute. I think I have some of the... I picked up a Cornate dice tin with a bunch of D6s in it a little while ago from the dice shop online. And they look suspiciously like...
the Word Bearers.
The Word Bearers dice. That's interesting. But yeah, no.
Speaking of Horus Heresy, they also kind of dropped the hints as to what of the next book in the Primarch series is going to be. It's going to be Alfarius.
/ Omicron.
Yeah, same thing.
I mean, kinda.
I mean, Omicron became Alfarius, so yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, this entire article was like, hey, what's next for the Primarch novels series? And they hyped this whole thing up, and basically the only thing that they actually told us was 2 lines at the bottom spoiling that Alfarius was next. The entire article was just a waste of time otherwise.
Kind of like most of the Primarch novels themselves. I say most, not all. There are a couple of good ones. You know, the Angron one and the Lorgar one, they're both really good. But then there's also a bunch of shit in there.
Quick, move on before we talk about the Cormac Curse novel again.
Oh, but
So,
that
Armies on Parade.
That reminds me. Disharmonia, we're still waiting on your 13-page review. Thank you.
Yeah, Disharmonia. We need it.
My dog agrees, as you can hear in the background.
I can't, but I love your dog and I would die for them, so please give them, like, scritches.
Oh, dude. He recently had surgery on his leg.
Oh no, puppy!
Yeah, he had to have, so in regards, because he snapped one of the ligaments in his leg.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, and he had to have a metal plate put in his leg.
Oh, you've got a cyber wolf.
You've got a cyber mastiff now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, but give him some loves from us, because Doggo is best. I like how I'm like, distract me with burgers, anime, or dogs. That's literally just me. So,
A classic combination.
Yeah. Puppy! Oh, he's so pretty! Okay, I'm going to be fawning over him for the rest of my life. I'm sorry. I am obsessed with your puppy.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, so the final bit of news, as it were, that I think we have really to get through is a bit of a PSA about Armies on Parade. So Armies on Parade is obviously a very, very famous competition that GW does, where getting people to make Velma battle boards to display their armies on, and so on and so forth. Big competition at every store, and so on and so forth. However, due to, well, you know, the big global pandemic thing...
Steve
that thing, I'd nearly forgotten.
Thanks to that, in order to preemptively safeguard people, they are taking it onto an online format. So you can enter from November the 2nd until the end of November, the 29th, and create photos, and that will be announced in a live stream on Warhammer TV. So if you are someone who enjoys Armies on Parade or has wanted to get involved but never had the time to take it to store because you don't have a store nearby, well, now you don't have to bother because you can just put it on the internet and see what people think. So if you'd like to get involved in that, then November the 2nd is the entry opening date. So that's about 2 months from now, a little under 2 months, until it opens, and a little over 2 months until it closes, if you are interested.
Where is this year gone?
The toilet.
Yep.
I know, it's like, it's flipping nearly mid-September.
Right? It's just like, honestly, it feels like February was just like 2 months ago. It's so
It's
strange.
almost as if spending 6 months in your living room makes time be a bit weird.
Wow. Thanks for making it real. I really needed that in my life. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know that Remleiz is going to scoff at me for saying this, but I'm in my mid-20s now. What the hell has happened? I'm in my mid-20s. What?
Oh, honey, you are gonna, like, seriously, this happened to me. I was, like, 24, and then I woke up and I was fucking 30. Now
Well,
I'm
the rate
30.
the school year goes by, I get the feeling that is exactly what's going to happen. So,
The thing is, I think at the end of this year, all of us are gonna look at least 60.
who knows?
It's been a fucking time.
Indeed it has, but we shall see. But yes, I think that gets us through the news, because aside from elves, lions, there hasn't been a huge amount going on. So, unfortunately, I haven't had time to read anything. I haven't had time for, well, actually anything, since I finished Avenging Sun. I shot the last episode for my spoiler-laden review of that. But I'm happy to say that I'm picking up the Lumineth Realm Lords novel, along with my tech list, which I bought to my shame. I did buy the tech list, despite complaining about how expensive he is. I did buy the tech list, he can't stop me.
He is so dominant with T-posing.
That's just like being a Warhammer player is complaining about the price the whole time you're paying for it.
To the guy who's serving you. Yeah.
This is daylight robbery. You're still giving me the money.
Yes, and I'll take some texture paint too, you shit.
Yeah, it'd kind of be like that. But yes, I'm picking up the Lumineth novel next week. So I'll hopefully get the chance to read a little bit of that before the next episode. But Remleiz, I'm sure that you've had the time to digest something in paper.
I'm still getting through Farsight Empire of Lies, so I haven't actually finished that yet. I'm about 3/4 of the way through at the moment.
Anything in particular that's grabbed your attention? We have discussed it on the show before, so we're obviously out of spoiler territory since we did it like 3 months ago. But is there anything in particular that's hit you on the way?
To be honest, I'm actually kind of really enjoying the relationship between him and that Inquisitor undercover gay Vesa woman. Like the fact when they have that meeting and he's like wearing the really high fashion collars, like, why are you wearing Iacast fashion? Oh, I like it. And also to make sure no one reads my lips.
Yeah, Farsight is really good, and the Inquisitor, I forget her name off the top of my head.
Hycola Vet or something?
Yeah, something like that. But she's really interesting. And you if you're 3/4 of the way through, you probably haven't got to Arthur Smolock yet.
No, I mean I've gone past the bit where Badrak and Grog did that big assault on that one world, and then they've kind of gone back around them as like, surprise, we're now fighting the Enclaves. Bye. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, so you've done the Atari Bow ambush and the war. Yeah, so you've done the War of Daka, and now you're on to the Revenge.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting, because it's the same as Avenging Sun, really. It's a story that we've seen before, told before, in like the Tau Codex, the Orc Codex, the Farsight Supplement. But it's just written so well, you don't mind just retreading it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And to that one commenter who says, I never criticised the Tau, I was scathing of Farsight for Atari Bow. Scathing.
I love how it's like, oh, you never criticised the Tau? Is this your first podcast?
It's like, I got a comment on my...
You not listened to it before?
It was on my Cadian video. I got a comment saying, well, it's been really difficult for you to go 10 minutes without criticising the Imperium. And I was like, okay.
I find it so bewildering.
You know, if you like something, you're never allowed to criticise it.
I just find it so weird when people like treat fictional factions as if they're real. It's so weird to me. Like, oh yeah, you're criticising this faction. Like, who gives a shit? It's fictional.
Yeah, I mean, even though my logs are written in universe, in character, just the way I write them, it's just like, I can be nice to the Imperium sometimes. But do you not remember the most famous 40 seconds of 40k Stories fiction where I criticised the Nightbringer for being a massive idiot? I think I literally went off script, I think, and just yelled at the Nightbringer for a lack of intelligence in realising that the hyperweapons that the Necrons were building to kill it were designed as a tribute to it. How dumb do you have to be, you stupid cannibalistic star whatever, you flipping Egypt.
Do you know what that reminds me of? You know, what's it in South Park? You know, when Satan and Saddam Hussein basically break up, but then Saddam ends up going to heaven as a favour to God, and he starts building a chemical weapons factory in heaven. It's like, Saddam, are you building a chemical weapons factory? Nah, it's a chocolate chip factory. It looks like a chemical weapons factory. Yeah, but if I was building a chemical weapons factory, I wouldn't make it look like a chemical weapons factory. I make it look like a chocolate chip factory. Okay, just checking.
Logic checks out.
Oh dear.
God, love how they made God a combination of a hippo and a pussycat for some reason.
Who is a Buddhist, which I dig. I dig that.
I apparently did not see this entire thing.
You've never seen God in South Park? He's like an orangutan, monkey, kitty person.
Evidently not.
No?
Yeah, Satan goes up to God with his relationship problems, and then God goes, "Man, Satan, when did you become such a pussy?"
He's like, yeah, you don't need a relationship to be like an individual. Maybe
do
you should not be in a
man.
relationship for a while. And he's like, yeah, actually, thanks, God.
Right, fair enough. Sorry,
Also,
yawning. My bad.
can we just also take a moment to appreciate his Up There song, in the South Park movie, when Satan's singing his solo number? Or has no one else seen it?
Honestly, I can't remember that. I've seen the movie, and I remember literally, like, crying with laughter at the Uncle Fucker song, and then the rest of it is a blur.
Right. Okay.
At a certain point, you do go, oh wow, how many years ago was that? Oh.
Well, I
Well,
was
my
still at school then,
friend,
so...
my friend saw it when we were in, like, primary school. Like, just at the tail end of primary school. Which was, looking back, probably a bit too early for any of us to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, you say, speaking of crying and laughter, I didn't cry in laughter seeing any of the South Park film, though I did cry in laughter seeing Team America. Like, I was crying in laughter just at the Everyone Has AIDS song.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right,
You see,
so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and Xenos of all ages, to the Misanthropod.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Misanthropod. I'm Snipe.
Inside an episode of the Podcastus.
We've gone that far off the Adeptus Podcastus rails, we've just careened into the next junction and ended up in the Misanthropod.
Which
Trauma
does lead me
Master
to
my barge
which
in.
does lead me to a very important point. When are you going to invite us back on?
We've been really shit at that lately. We've been
I was going to
wanting
say
you guys
that I was
back
with
on.
you when I was in France. That was 3 years ago now.
I know, we are
It was about
awful.
4 years for
Please
me.
don't hate us.
In fairness, I think since like either of you was on, we've had like 2 guests on since then.
Was it Alpha and Oculus, wasn't it?
It was
Longfang?
It was Longfang and
Oculus.
actually no, yeah, Alpha's been on as well. We have got another guest lined up that will be happening soon. But yeah, we don't do
But no,
guests very often.
we need to
so,
get
yeah.
you two, like, on
I mean,
as
to be
well.
fair, like, it's one of those things that it's sometimes getting larger. The larger a podcast gets, the harder it is to manage. Shout out episode 100. Because when it was Alexis, Rem and I on the show, we got guests very rarely because there were 3 of us. And I think it was just, A, we were smaller, and B, just 4 in a room is harder to manage. Not impossible, but harder to manage relative.
Yeah. It's like being in a band. It's like the more members you have, the harder it is to ever do anything. It's like herding cats.
Yeah, so since you've got yourselves plus drummer Matt already, like getting a 4th, or even if you got, say, Scarlet and Storm and Neve together, that would be 6. A Warp Time Radio Misanthropod mega crossover. Whilst it would get the views, bare views.
It's like the Avengers, like, MCU.
No, that's episode 100, and I will hear nothing different.
That's fair. And I do feel that in this case, Frederick Knudsen was Thanos with that horrible fucking story he told us.
Yeah,
Click
don't-
and kill the podcast.
Yeah. And he feels nothing. And now he's like living, he's having a cup of like coffee in the fucking cat like cafe, playing his hurdy-gurdy, just feeling really self-satisfied.
I don't know, I find it peculiar. It's kind of fun that there's like this group of podcasts and people guest on back and forth. And then the Misanthropod is this anomaly because it is neither a 40k podcast,
It's not-
nor has guests very often. But
barely
it just,
a podcast.
It's barely a podcast. It's a scream into the void, a cry for help in
Talking
audio
about
form.
Robert Patrick's balls.
Yeah, boy.
And it's
So don't you
but
have a
it's-
second podcast, Whip?
yes, I
But
recently,
I am not allowed to derail.
I have recently started the podcast Men with Funny Heads, which is a sci-fi podcast that I do with our good friend Longfang, where we talk about various bits of sci-fi that we go and watch. So that's quite fun.
Can I come on?
You can come on, yes.
I don't want to.
We have had Oculus on already, actually.
Of course you have. Because you're all huge nerds, unlike Rem, Tack, and I, who just like 40k.
I've said this before, if I was to do a second degree, I'd do it in flipping classics. So, Of all the subjects, I'd do it in classics.
Classics. So basically,
I think
if you got a degree in classics and then start your own podcast, it'd be called like the Sisyphean invention or something, wouldn't it?
Like, people get so mad at me for the way I say Legiones and Scitarii. Like, you'd think I just killed their cat.
I see that kind of stuff as like Bath and Bath.
Or pure
it's
and
just
pure.
yeah. It's just that's just how you say it. And it is fun to like go, actually, it's codices. It's like, ha ha ha, yeah, funny.
You see, after people did that to me over the fact that, even though I am British, I do tend to say lieutenant, because that's how it's spelled. But after people got mad at me for it, every time I have to say lieutenant in a video, I will alternate between lieutenant and lieutenant in the same video just to aggravate the maximum amount of people. And I've gotten to a point now where I do it automatically. I don't even think about it. And
Yeah, I've got the same with... I did my Legion series, and I called them Legiones Astartes throughout all 18 Legions videos. And then the very next video was my Custodes video, and I called them the Legio Custodes, and Legio Custodes and Legiones Astartes just ran off my lips so easily that I now cannot say it the other way around. It sounds so much faster and better to just say Legio and Legiones. And granted, okay, I was being a bit of an arse about Scitarii. I'll fully admit I was being a bit of an arse. But at the same time, I'm probably not wrong. Mm-hmm. So
I do look at
it's like the whole Latin thing, and I think the double A is supposed to be pronounced like that. So
Yeah, it is,
Scitarii
yeah.
is correct.
I tend to look at these things as it's a way to make people realize that there are things on the internet that it's worth getting mad at and things that it's not. And how someone pronounces words is not one of them.
Because a lot of people don't seem to realise that regional pronunciations are a thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
literally, I've realised that the amount of people who use nuclear, even in this country, is mad. Like,
Yeah.
just from 1 week of teaching about energy and all things around that, the amount of people who use the word nuclear instead of nuclear, it's like, some people are like, I can't hear the difference. Was there a difference? And some people are like, it's just like, yeah. Like, wait, what?
Nuclear. Nuclear.
Like, just read it how you spell it.
Ukulele? Yeah.
But anyway.
Simpson, you're going on a nuclear sub. Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
nuclear.
Whatever. Nuclear.
But yeah, no, it reminds me the other day, what was it? Wib rhymed the word foot and butt. And I was like, what? Because like in his accent that works, but I'm just like, I'm going to put my foot in your butt. It makes
Snipe,
no
you're going to love this one. I had some students think I was Australian, but despite the fact I'm from the north of England.
What?
I literally had kids like, have you got an Australia? Are you from Australia? I was like, no, I'm from Yorkshire.
No, I can't, not.
I'll be honest. Before I started doing YouTube full time, back when I worked at PC World, we had a South African manager who I actually thought was Australian.
That's horrible.
Yeah, his name
Why
was
would
also
you throw me
Dougie.
under the bus like this?
Well, his name was Douglas, but I kept calling him Dougie, and he got really pissed off with me for that. Because I said,
Well,
like,
I mean, that's
you're
just
like
like
Dougie,
Dougie though, isn't it?
I remember for a while when Snipe and I were first going out, and
We were first living together.
well, your Australian accent used to be a bit much more like prominent,
Yeah.
and I pick up accents really quickly. Like if I'm just around someone for a bit, I'll start picking up their inflections. And I did that with you, so quite a few times.
You've stolen my accent.
Yeah, I stole your accent. I siphoned it away from you is what happened.
That's what happened.
And on quite a few occasions, someone would ask me, "Oh, how long you been in the country?" And I was like, "About 23 years, because I was born here."
How old are you? You don't look a day over 23. No,
No,
I'm not.
did you respond with crikey?
I don't think I've ever been able
No,
to
you
pull
just
off
go, crikey, you flaming galah.
I've never been able to pull off a convincing Australian crikey. I am too English for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be fair, I have not been able to pull off a convincing Australian crikey.
When you try and put on an Australian accent, it's
can't.
weird. It sounds fake.
Yeah.
It's peculiar.
Yeah, like, I'm going to go down the road and tag a Pokemon gym because I like them, apart from the spider one, because I don't think we should have that, because in Australia, spiders kill people. See, that's
Sound like
getting
you're
very
from
Melbourne.
Essex.
What is this, an Iconics promo?
Oh my word!
I can't believe they split them up.
Yes, we're not going to... Yeah, that was an interesting one. Actually, I had someone talking to one of my colleagues, and they actually used the phrase, like, they just weren't selling it. And it was just like, yes, someone gets it. Yeah, and I've learned apparently one of my colleagues, I don't know for sure, apparently is a commission painter or something. I can't confirm that, and if I do, I'm not going to reveal who they are because GDPR is a thing. But apparently one of my colleagues is a commission painter or paints the models for fun and sells them. I don't really know what the difference is, but details. So yeah, that was a thing I learned this week.
That's pretty rad.
And using a Primaris Funko Pop to demonstrate, energy transfers, that was quite fun. I bought that Primaris Funko Pop with the specific reason of, I'll get use out of this in lessons. And by gum, yes, I have got use out of it in lessons. And yes, there you go. There's some Northernism for you.
Heck yeah. See, I think Longfang bought me the Space Pup Funko, and he sits next to Doom Guy in front of my TV. So, you've got way more use out of your Funko than I think I have.
Yeah, I sort of needed to justify it to myself.
They are just supposed to sit there and be a thing, so,
stare dead-eyed
just
into your soul.
Just existing on the side is them fulfilling their purpose.
I know, it's fun. Stop judging me.
I'm doing the opposite of judging. I'm saying that you don't have to make an excuse to
Okay. But no, honestly, that sounds really cool. If they ever do like 40k Nerf guns, like a Nerf bolter, you should just take it, if anyone's, passing notes or, whispering while you're talking, just, one of your students, just,
Snipe,
Nerf dart.
I'm not allowed to shoot the students, even with a Nerf gun. I could I could use my Nerf bolter to teach A-level physics projectiles. I could do that.
Okay, we can work with this. So then, so you're not allowed to, fire it at them. What if you kind of just, put a blindfold on, spun around a bunch, and then just kind of, tried to aim towards the sound or something?
Then they would get fired for negligence or something.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, no. With respect, no.
No, that's fair.
I think...
What if you gave all this... Why don't you just give all the students Nerf guns and then have a big, fun Nerf war in the park? That sounds like a hell of a lot of fun.
Could you give all the children Nerf guns and have them shoot you?
Yeah.
Or have they not thought of that?
It would more be a case of they would not shoot me. They would shoot each other.
What if you asked them to?
They wouldn't.
I think they wouldn't dare.
Cool. Okay, wait. Give a 14-year-old a Nerf gun and tell them where to point it. How many of them are going to point it in the right direction? Be honest.
Then you say, whatever you do, don't shoot me, and all of them will shoot you.
Yeah, that still wouldn't happen. From my experience of a year and a bit, that still wouldn't happen. But one thing I actually have got from one of my tutorialis lessons is I've got Steve the Breacher in a car crash, so I have used Warhammer in a lesson already. And I'm sure I will be able to reference back to my Warhammer Science videos on railguns and las guns, if I ever get to talk about lasers and magnets and monorails and things like that. There is a magnets topic somewhere. And I admit one video that I am terrified of making, and I will probably never make, is the video on the melter gun, because oh my god, the melter gun makes no goddamn sense. The melter gun makes no goddamn sense. It's basically a flipping mega flamer. That's all it is. It's a superheated
doesn't actually
flame
shoot
gun.
flames.
No, but it shoots out a cone of superheated gas. The only difference between that and
I
a
thought it was
flamer...
microwaved energy.
It's not a rad gun, Ram. That belongs to the Skitaria. It's not a rad gun.
No, but the older descriptions of melt guns, it shoots out a charged beam of microwave energy, which causes all bodily moisture in the target to evaporate explosively.
Like they're an egg.
I mean, at that point, you've just fired a laser. You've fired a microwave laser. That's all you've done. A high-energy microwave ray is just a laser with a wonky wavelength. That's it.
So... Let's say I make a laser that has a 20 centimeter circumference that is just a solid cylinder of laser. How if I just, like, exposed it to some Japanese Wagyu for, like, 3 seconds, would that cook it?
So, you'd have to take... So, I've actually done this calculation in my tutorials. I did the video about the heat transfer by a lasgun and all that, and the energy stored in a lasgun. I actually did do the maths on this. So, you'd be having a impact area of... If C equals pi d, then d is 6 centimeters, and then I need to come out that to mean that's 0.06. Area is pi r squared, so that's 0.03 squared, which is 9 times 10 to the minus 4, times by pi, so we're about 27 times 10 to the minus 4 is 2.7 times 10 to the minus 3 meters squared. That would be your area of impact. Then you'd need to calculate the energy density, and that would tell you the energy transferred in the beam per second. And then you could use E equals mc delta theta to calculate the temperature rise of the beef, but then that doesn't account for modifying and breaking down the proteins. So that might mess the calculation a little bit more. Would it cook it in 3 seconds? Probably not. But you would probably be able to get somewhere doing a bit of like GCSE physics and some slightly further physics calculations. It can be worked out, but I haven't got the maths. But there was a video I watched that I'd love to use in my lessons, but I can't, by Austin Hurricane of Shoddycast and Now Game Theory. Yes, I know he's on Game Theory, but please hear me out. His video on on plasma guns in Fallout 4. He did the maths. Actually, no, he didn't do the maths. But
did he do the monster math?
No, some university researchers that I think it was Leicester, who had nothing better to do, worked out the energy required to vaporize a human.
Oh, dang! How much is that roughly, if you can remember? I'm just curious.
I think it's something in the range of gigajoules. If I recall, accounting for a 70% water density, a 25% bone density, and so on and so forth. They did the math.
They did the monster math.
I just want to say, Tack, I love you. Don't ever change.
No, that was so fucking legit. Oh my god, that was so cool.
Yeah, so actually, I've told this story before, not on the show, but I think, is this GDPR? Can I say this on GDPR? I think I can. It's not personal information, so yeah, I can say this. I had a student who, we were at the end of the lesson, and they were talking about time travel, because, you know, it's physics, we were talking about time travel, because everyone wants to know about time travel. And they said, I saw something on the internet where you could do time travel using this mirror thing. And so I said, right, you know, we've got 2 minutes at the end of the lesson, let's do this. So I went up and I drew a distance time graph for space-time with time on the y-axis and distance on the x-axis, and said, right, here at the origin, right where we are, time equals 0, distance equals 0, that's the present, that's where we are right now. You can plot the gradients of that distance time graph, and you draw the gradients of it for the speed of light, that's c. You end up with a cross symbol, and that ends up with 2 what we call light cones. If you're in the top quarter quadrant, so imagine a big X. If you're in the quarter of being between the 2 top forks of the X, you are in the future, and your speed is lower than the speed of light. If you are in the cone below the origin, which is in the sort of inside the bottom 2 forks of the X, you're in the past. However, if you go into the forks on the outside of the X, then you are able to transverse across the future and past at will. However, you need to go faster than the speed of light, which is physically impossible. Therefore, time travel is debunked. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. There's the door.
I'm just like, this reminds me of being in school with a really cool teacher, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck you're saying, but I feel like maybe one day I might learn something from it. Like, so, like I'll be like on my deathbed, and I'll be like, okay, what Tax said makes sense finally, and then I'll just conk out and die.
But we've all got stories, I think, of like really good, and I'm sorry for going off on a teacher's tangent because
that was awesome. Never apologise. That was great.
Most of us, I think, can look back at our school days and say, I really liked that teacher and they inspired me to X. Or I really hated that teacher and they completely demotivated me from doing Y. I have both. Because I had a maths teacher who dragged me to an A, kicking and screaming, and got me into Manchester Uni, and that's where everything else comes from. However, I had a French teacher who was the best, and we could spend an hour, literally an hour, bickering in French, good-naturedly, of course, bickering, and I swear that the psychology class next door must have been looking through the wall and thinking, what the devil is going on next door? There's just like an ever-increasing tempo of argument going on between me and the teacher in another language to everyone else. We were just bickering away. And that was part of what inspired me to go live in France for a year. And my brother, I don't think he'll mind me saying this, had a geography teacher who was a member of the Cloud Appreciation Society. Shout out the Cloud Appreciation Society. And they single-handedly turned my brother around from, like, oh, I don't care about school, to doing a PhD in glaciology at Liverpool University, for God's sake.
That's rad.
But then we have some bad teachers, I'm sure we all have them, who you just think, oh God, what did I ever learn from you? My objective is to be just the right side of weird that I'm cool. And I think I've got to find, I've been told this a lot about the way I speak in lessons, is there's a fine line between funny, cool, and weird. I
mean, I'm probably more of the cool. I'm not weird at all. So I think I have some authority on that. I can't even say that with a straight face.
But yeah, some of the things I can say do strafe the line between cool and weird. I pretty much committed to one internet reference per lesson on some classes just because I know it works and they'll follow it. So
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like the thing about a lot of more complex subjects like maths or whatever, I was kind of, because I'm kind of a bit of a slow and anxious / low self-esteem learner, so, you know, I tend to get in my own head a lot, and it's difficult to absorb the subject material. So when I had a teacher who would kind of just be like, no, this I'm explaining this in a way because I think this is really fun and rad, it really loosened me up and helped me kind of get into it as well. I'm like, okay, well, they're having fun, and like they wouldn't be like, well, you should have been paying attention. They were kind of like, oh, no, it's understandable that this is tricky, but you know, so that actually, you know, that kind of teaching style really resonated with me at least.
Well, I mean, obviously, this is a very different kind of thing, but it's one of the reasons why Codex Compliant is the series that it is and why it's so jokey, because if you just talk about this stuff in the flat, dry ways, then it's really boring. It's just, oh, this is this, and then
well, I mean,
this.
if you want to just...
thanks.
Yeah.
All YouTubers, thanks.
He is just like vaguing so hard.
I mean, because obviously we deal with like the real world stuff, like this came out in this and this, and you can reel this. You can reel all this stuff off, and then you kind of say, oh, and this does this, and this does this, and this does this, and this does this, and it would just be that.
If there's no like flair to it, or no kind of like sense of fun, like you know, reading things in universe and stuff, that's fun. That's
there's a flair to portraying lore and stuff in the right way, in a way that is entertaining. But our way of doing it was to, you know, like if we did like, you know, just the kind of standard lore thing, it'd be really boring, because I don't think we'd be very good at it.
No, because we're bad at stuff.
But that's why we kind of made it jokey, because you know, if you want people to remember something, then making it an entertaining, jokey thing can often be the way, because it's
or just, like Tack was saying, just make it interesting, make it cool. That's what sticks in people's heads.
Yeah, and
it's like learning isn't a horrible thing. Learning, the thing is, like you see, like 99% of people will just want to learn stuff.
Why do you think we had like a whole little weird side thing in the Warhammer Records video talking about flexi discs? No one wanted to know that, but everyone had to learn it because we found it out and it was cool. And so we just wanted to share that with everyone, even though it has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's certainly a perception, I think this is particularly true in science, that science is all about right answers. Like, people think science is like maths, where there is a answer. And one thing I've been saying to a lot of my classes throughout the years is, and it is now years because I did some teaching when I was in A-level as well, is science is not about being right. Science is about being wrong with style. Because science, basically, take Steve Carino. How many times has the science got Steve Carino wrong and kept adapting and adapting and adapting until we think we got it right? Classic example. Or you want to talk about pretty much any scientific theory ever. Einstein didn't come up with that crap all on his own. Well, he kind of did, but he based it on the theory of Mr. Brown and Brownian motion, which was his theory, but he based it on someone else's work. Rutherford, guy who split the atom, if you haven't heard of him, worked at Manchester, come from New Zealand, so shout out New Zealand. His work was built on debunking the work of Mr. Thompson, who developed the plum pudding model, which is one of the most famous models in atomic history, and is entirely wrong. The entire experiment of the Michelson-Morley interferometer was designed to detect the ether. There's no such thing as the ether. But they didn't know that. So they got it wrong by realising, wait, there's no such thing as the ether, so what's actually causing these waves to travel? Well, it's because they're self-propagating electromagnetic waves with oscillating waves in opposite directions, and that allows them to travel in the third direction because perpendicularity is a thing. But, besides the point...
I was just about to say that, actually. Yeah.
Well, you did write all the Warhammer fantasy lore, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm very smart.
But yeah, science is all about getting it wrong and then trying to explain why you got it wrong. And
Science is a very collaborative effort.
Absolutely. People think that it's just like some old, fat, white European bloke in a lab coat in a black and white photo just did everything. No.
Well, it's the whole, the people, it's like a psychological thing. People want to pin everything on this one guy did that.
Well, it's a very kind of like black and white worldview.
Yeah.
It's just because it's
well,
path
it's
of
easy.
least resistance for your brain.
It's an easy thing to think of it, this thing exists because this guy invented it.
I'm so glad that Einstein invented gravity.
Yeah.
What did he do before then? Holy shit.
But it was Newton, let's be honest, it was 300 years before Einstein, it was Newton.
No, it was definitely Einstein who invented gravity. Also, he invented the one in
theory of general
shaking.
relativity and universal gravity and cosmological nonsense, I'll give you, but classical gravity was Newton.
No, I'm pretty sure Newton was the name of like a car.
Anyway, the thing I was actually going to say.
I'm sorry, Tack. I'm being a shit. I'm sorry.
I don't know if you've seen these, but there's a couple of videos by a channel called Up Is Not Jump.
Oh, I love Up Is Not Jump.
Yeah, and his science videos, like the existence is a nightmare.
Yeah, I have fact checked that he's a chemistry degree student, so he should know this nonsense anyway. But fact checked. God, he's good, and he's so damn right. And I want to show them to my kids because he did a video on climate change. He did a slightly sweary version and then promised to upload a censored version for the students so the teachers could use it in school. It's that damn good. It's so damn good.
I thought those did they did something which the last time I'd experienced it was when I was reading the Science of the Discworld books, which was to take these concepts that to a layperson can be quite intimidating to even look at. 'Cause like you look up on Wikipedia how these things work and it's a lot.
Yes, it's a heck of a lot.
But then you just have someone explain it to you in a kind of jokey way, and it starts to settle in because they're basically going, okay, we're taking this, but then, I mean, it's what, comedy is. Comedy is often taking big concepts and explaining them simply, or taking simple concepts and explaining them in an unnecessarily complicated way. And I think doing that can be really good for educating. Cause, I remember watching those Existence as a Nightmare videos and just being like, okay, I've read about this stuff before and it has never stuck in my brain, but like, I start to remember stuff because of the way it's explained. And it's,
I get the feeling when I get to solar panels, I'm going to have to walk outside at some point and go, damn you, son! I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to find a way to do it. And just do a damn you, son joke. But yeah, Up Is Not Jump Science is absolutely fantastic. And whilst the way I do with Tutorialis with the Warhammer science is delivered very much like I'm delivering a university lecture, because I don't know any other way to talk about it because I learnt about it at university. The lessons I deliver now are deliberately designed to be GCSE and A-level lessons. So if any of you if you're in the UK, you've got that free science lessons bloke who's got a slight, I think, Welsh accent, and he does all the GCSE topics in 2 minutes. It's really good. But my job is to take his job and do it in 40 minutes with all the calculations and exercises because, well, if everyone goes into lockdown, I've got to give something for my kids to do. So it's basically just me pulling double duty lesson planning over lockdown because I was bored, which was really useful because, when do you get the opportunity to stand at your hob armed with a mini whiteboard and nothing else and get to derive and explain the origins of nuclear theory and just be like, yeah, have that, mate. It's just lovely.
It's very rare that I've had the opportunity to do it. It's very true.
Yeah, I'm sort of working on. I've actually bought like a massive whiteboard that you have to screw into the wall, and I'm genuinely tempted. The point is, I've left my lab coat at work because I need my lab coat for practicals. So it's like I have to leave the lab coat, but I'm going to actually probably screw it in the wall instead of having the blooming peel-off chalkboard that I had, which is awful camera quality. Actually have like a dedicated tripod, microphone, whiteboard. Big whiteboard, lecture theatre style, here we go. And that way, if we ever go into lockdown, I've just basically perfected my lockdown teaching, because I'll just stand at a whiteboard and ramble, because I'm bloody good at it, while sharing a screen so the kids can see my PowerPoint. It's just like, yeah. Like, why not?
No, that's absolutely rad.
I also like how we cannot be blamed for how deep this tangent got.
You know, it was really nice to hear Tack go on a tangent, because usually it's me talking about butts or something else, or Remleiz and I talking about burgers, or...
Yeah, the problem happens when I go on tangents is that Rem immediately has to go quiet because I can't let anyone get a word in edgeways. So sorry, Remleiz.
He's dead.
I'm still.
R.I.P. Remleiz, taken too soon. Like, sometimes I can still hear his voice.
What is this, Monsters, Inc.?
Yes. Anyway, you know, like, Warhammer 40k is a game people like.
I hear
Yeah.
it's getting quite popular.
I posted that thing about the melter gun from earlier, where it talks about how it works by submolecular thermal agitation in a manner similar to microwave irradiation.
Right.
As opposed to the last
how it
time,
makes
which
no
works
noise when
via
fired,
like
but-
implosive explosive submolecular device.
That is absolutely not how they work.
I know.
Submolecular thermal agitation, so going down to the atomic level, breaking down the molecules that make up with people's bodies and making their atoms vibrate so much by thermal agitation, by heat them so much that they all rip themselves apart. Okay, that works.
Literally, like, the blast hits the target, which the moisture vaporizes explosively.
So if you could do
to be
that
honest though, because that's kind of, cook, ding, humans done.
Yeah. So if you could do that to like, let's not say Wagyu this time. Let's say like, I don't know, a couple of pounds of bird of beef. You just let it cook like pretty much instantaneously, but you'd probably have to have it well done. Huh?
I mean, did you see what happened when you fired the melter gun in Space Marines? An entire orc fungus blob just went voop and just vanished into a vaporized puddle.
Yeah, but the melter gun in Space Marine was just basically a shotgun by another name.
Yeah, but it was like that's what happens if you open your microwave door. It just it turns you into shiitake mist.
Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate that the common nicknames for the multi-melter from 2nd edition were also known as, quote, hot stuff, hell's breath, and hell's halitosis.
Oh, that's what they used to call me at college.
Though
I love old Warhammer so much.
Though I will give the Warhammer writers credit, because I actually did my reading when I did the video on the last science tandem that I'm done. But I genuinely did the reading from 2nd and 3rd edition about how they explained how the lasgun worked, and how they explained how the grav gun works and all of that. Like graviton weapons and all that. And the amount of it they get right is ridiculous. Like
That's really weird.
Like the grav gun, the theory of the grav gun, it goes, fires big blob, creates a changing gravitational field due to intensely high mass, pulls the target in, splat. Change in pressure, crushing their bodies from the inside out, and so on. That's why it's so good against armoured units. But the problem was, how do you contain a gravitational blob and negate its mass while it's in the ammo canister? That's where the theory falls down. But the lasgun theory, genuinely, I did the maths. A lasgun power cell could power your average American home in 2018 for a month.
Huh.
And they leave, and that's how compact the energy technology of the Imperium is. That a lasgun could power your house for a month.
And then, like, when it ran out, you just set fire to it and then stick it in for another month.
Yeah, just literally just have it sort of like have your solar panels on a rotating like thing like a delicatessen turner.
Like a lazy Susan.
So like for 2 days, you turn it upside down, you leave it out in the sun to absorb all the energy because it's ultra efficient. Then you turn it over, and then the cells are connected by like electrical like interface to the circuits that power your house, and just have it on like a rotisserie thing. That was the word I was looking for, rotisserie. And just have it like that and power your house on an ultra slow rotisserie of lasgun power cells. There you go.
Okay, that's amazing. Why aren't we funding this?
Because it's basically all down to like compacting things. The same reason why we don't have like fusion technology. We just can't contain it. It's too big. It's why microfusion and microfission technology that we see in Fallout, 40k, and all that is impossible. Well, for us, not impossible theoretically, but it's impossible practically because you just can't condense the reactor that damn small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would happen, we get like a micro fission kind of thing going like in Fallout. When that reactor, if it becomes incredibly unstable, because of the density of the matter, does it just create like this big vacuum?
No, probably not. So when you say vacuum, my mind immediately goes to a black hole. And to create something that creates a vacuum akin to a black hole, you need a star to blow up that is 40 times the mass of the sun. So when our star dies, it will end up as a white dwarf because it's quite small. But if you get bigger, you go above 8 solar masses, you blow up. If you get above 40 solar masses, you blow up and you're so massive that you collapse back in on yourself and that creates a black hole. So, but the other thing about black holes is most of them don't last very long. It's kind of like most portals in any media you've ever seen ever. They're very unstable and collapse in on themselves under their own weight pretty quickly, unless they're the supermassive ones, which is why, if you had a baby... people remember when the Hadron Collider went off for the first time, and people said, oh, they're going to create a black hole and suck the whole world into it because they're going to smash the antiparticles together and all this junk. It's like, even if they actually did create a black hole, it would last about half a second. It would barely do anything. It wouldn't last long enough to have an accretion disk wide enough to do anything. So it wouldn't even be that bad.
So, maybe a scientist would lose a pen.
Not even a pen. They'd lose an ink particle.
They were going to use that ink particle as well.
They would lose the ink on the end of their pen if they happened to leave the pen in the anti-proton collision chamber, which is exceptionally evacuated and powered by ultra-powerful magnets. If you left a pen in there, you'd be out on your ass in 5 minutes. You don't leave a pen in the particle collider.
That is something I would absolutely do. I would be kicked out of science immediately for leaving, I don't know, half an eaten lion bar next to the Hadron Collider.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just forgot. And I just went and wandered off because I heard a noise or something. It might have been a dog, I don't know.
Oh, hello. Sorry, I've just been distracted. Someone's done an animated GIF of my Altar of Cain conversion that I did on stream. And they've done an animated... It's not finished yet. They've just tweeted at me.
When you said oh hello after Snipe just talked about a dog, I thought a dog just came up to you or something.
Yeah, I thought you had a dog in your house, and I was like, oh, tell me about the dog. Send dog pics.
Not allowed pets. Sorry.
Oh, I'm not allowed them either. Not because of my apartment, just because of who I am as a person. Because I get too attached and sad.
Right, anyway, I've been rambling for the best part of the last 50 minutes just about being a massive science nerd, and we've got to an hour and 40 and we haven't even hit the questions. This happens a lot on Rambly Podcastus, but I'm not that mad.
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm sure Rem doesn't mind. See, he doesn't mind. He's fine with it. He's dead. R.I.P. Remleiz, taken too soon. What a sweet creature.
That's the second joke in 5 minutes. Right, no, we've had too much science today, so I'm going to have to leave that for another time. Random question then. Is there a limit to orc intelligence? Most orcs are, air quote, idiots, but then you get Snagrod copying Imperial Guard tactics and General Tacticus outsmarting Guard commanders as well as negotiating with them. And then, of course, Gazgor and the Beast. So where does the capability of the orc intelligence end? Well, technically, there's no such thing as an intelligence cap, but we'll move past that. Carry on.
Theoretically, there is no limit. I mean, if you look at that random mad boy called Talker, he has bouts where he's completely insane and when he's scarily intelligent, close to Belisarius core levels. With his, vernacular and that, where he talks about, the electromagnetic fields and the psycho-resonance waves and all that shit. And everyone just looks at him yeah, what he said.
Yeah. I always kind of interpret orc intelligence, especially when it's you're dealing with the whole thing of they get smarter in line with them getting bigger as well.
I mean, I actually
there's
So I was just saying, I actually have the quote to hand that from Talker. 1 second.
This should be fun.
Yeah. Now, bear in mind, this is an orc mad boy, and he's talking like this. Caution must be taken when interfacing ionic technologies, especially those that originate with alien species whose consciousness wavelengths are incompatible with the psychically motivated etheric generators of the Krork.
Yeah, what he said.
Well, the mech boy who looked at him just like, I know that. So I didn't know that.
I would also flip this question around and be like, I would also say because in like, you know, the 40k universe, orcs are considered incredibly stupid. So the fact that they might be able to subvert that kind of stereotype would probably be not that uncommon. People would be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go trade with these orcs. You know what orcs are like.
There's also the fact as well that with a lot of orcs with specialist subjects, you know, like engineering, medicine, and stuff, that's literally programmed into their very DNA. Like, not even hyperbole, that's literal programmed into their DNA.
And there's actually a quote from an Eldar philosopher, which says, orcs have sort of have won at life, have perfected life. They don't really care about internal politics and strife and all of that. For orcs, life is simple. We Eldarian humanity in turn have fallen into our own hubris, trying to understand everything that was and may well be. We look to society that is ultrally super happy and ultimately despise it as crude. I butchered that quote.
Oh, was that the one from, what's his name? Uthan the Perverse.
Think so, yes.
Yes, I remember that.
That's a good quote.
But yeah, I kind of, because they've got the whole thing of, you know, like you know, when so I haven't actually got around to reading the books, but I've read a bunch about them. Because who has the time to read books? You just read wikis about them. That when talking about how when the beasts were around, and how orcs were getting smarter because of it, you know. Like, I think, like a lot of things with orcs, their intelligence is an incredibly fluid thing. And so, depending on the right circumstances, they can be incredibly smart, but they just generally don't need to be, so most of them aren't. Alternately, the ones that appear smart are like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he has that one episode where he thinks he's smart and he's not. He's just speaking bollocks.
You see, I would say that also a lot of orcs are smart, and like the whole, you know, Remleiz saying quite rightly that, you know, they literally have this stuff programmed into their DNA. So they inherently know all this stuff. They know how this stuff works. And them just being able to explain it incredibly crudely can appear unintelligent.
And actually, this comes back to Empire of Light, with the conversation between Badrook and Grog from like chapter 5. That conversation, where it's like so good. But yes, sorry.
And they're also probably just smarter than we think in general, because we're used to just hearing orcs talk in English, where they're given a very specific accent that we code as being unintelligent, but how someone speaks is not actually a particularly good thing of their intelligence, because they have their own language anyway.
The funny thing is, you know, the commonly held view of the orcs being quote-unquote dumb is one of the biggest advantages the orcs actually have, because it leads to other races, you know, underestimating them.
Yeah, 4th edition Codex again, the Orc Commandos entry. Field Marshal of a Guard Lieutenant was orcs using camouflage and stealth tactics? Preposterous! To the firing squad with you.
Mm-hmm. And also there's the whole thing of that orcs are just, they're just smart in the ways that, you know, are often not particularly prized by other people. Like, yes, to do the things they do, they have to be intelligent in their own specific way. They're just not book smart.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way, you know. The orcs have worked out how to do teleportation technology and warp travel, which the Tau haven't even worked out how to do yet.
I will raise you the AL-38 Slipstream, which is an antimatter projector that kind of works the same way. So how that works is it creates basically an antimatter shield and accelerates at hyperspeed to allow it to rip a small wormhole in reality. So that's kind of how that works, and it's all
that's technically not warp travel though.
it's not warp travel as we understand it, but it is FTL travel that involves skipping through
it is
portals.
FTL travel, yes. But
It is, and also when you activated like hundreds of them at once, what happened? Warp rift.
which was like an unintended byproduct, and I'm like, oh, let's not do that again.
Let's not do that again. We've condemned our entire expansion to xenophobic idiocy. And also hating our auxiliaries for creating a god of the greater good that they in turn create. Oh god, the god of the greater good and the xenophobia that comes out of it is ridiculous.
Oh yes.
Just like, hey, there's a god that embodies the greater good that saved us from all things and threw us out of the war. It must be those stupid auxiliaries' fault for their faith in everything and believing in things and being psychic. Let's kill them all now. Like, what? 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 Despair.
But I think my point still holds merit, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No argument at all. And also, should we not forget, like, subspace? That entirely unique dimension that the orcs used that one time in the War of the Beast?
Oh yeah. That was fun.
That was fun. And we also have the Talking Moon and the Cathedral Gargant and, you know, all the other stuff that the Beast did that made no cocking sense.
It's orcs, it doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah, it is one of those things where it needs to make no goddamn sense. But yeah, the War of the
It makes
I mean,
sense to them.
Is it less incomprehensible than, say, you know, the Adeptus Mechanicus teleporting an entire planet and saying, yeah, we totally blew it up. We haven't, you know, put it in the Armageddon sector and renamed it to Armageddon. Because we don't want to study that orc tech, do we? No, not at all. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Stupid. This is stupid. Though actually, in Armageddon Saint, I think I mentioned this last time about how the orc says that Armageddon is the orc world. Like it's the green.
Armageddon is Ullanor.
Yes, it is obviously, but it's like it's the green. Like this is the green's world once, always, and that's sort of how he refers to the War as like the green. It's like, and at the very end, as they're all going off into the warp and using a warp head bomb to try and close the Cicatrix Maledictum, the guardsman Cage is like, yeah, okay, yeah, this is the Orcs world. I see it now. Yeah, this is the Orcs world. We shouldn't be here. This is the Orcs world. We're just living in it.
I'm now imagining a version of it's a man's world, but it's an Orcs world.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, oh.
Okay, this should be an interesting one. With regards to audiobooks, are there any particular people who haven't done one already that you would like to hear voicing a particular character or audiobook?
I'd like to hear Snipe do Celestine. Yeah, me too. Mysterious person who's just walked into my flat. Okay, bye. They're gone now. You don't know them. They go to a different school.
I'll be honest, I don't really listen to enough audiobooks these days to really have a say in this.
No, I've never really done them. Though apparently the audiobook of Avenging Sun, one of the other comments underneath is just like, saying the story was great, but the guy that chose to narrate it butchered Gilliman's voice, and I was like, oh.
So they didn't get Toby Longworth to do it then?
I'm not sure.
Because Toby Longworth, I think it's Toby Longworth who does the narration for the Horus Heresy books.
Right.
Which was quite funny because he also does the Garrow audio dramas as well, and it was quite funny because he had like about 3 different pronunciations for Rabute Gilliman. Like in one of the Garrow dramas, he called him Rabute Ghoulie Man.
Oh yes, that's his like that's it. Like Gilliman during the month of October, he's Spoopy Ghouliman.
And then you have Gilliman starring in a children's film from the 1980s, which was Rabute Goonies Man.
Yeah, yeah.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Or, you know, he goes and...
Can we just take a moment to appreciate how good a movie The Goonies was, though?
I have never seen it.
Me neither.
God.
I've seen it like once.
It was a good film.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just like...
It was a good film, then.
I seem to remember it being good. It was a long time ago I saw it.
Isn't that the one with Tim Curry as a clown who's like fucking with a bunch of kids?
That's it.
Now you're just fucking with them intentionally now.
No, I'm not.
No, The Goonies was the one with Sloth. He was like, I like chocolate. That guy.
Okay, so it was me. I'm in that movie?
Okay,
I
apparently.
love how Remleiz is just sandbagging me so aggressively. Fair.
I think my connection's cutting out as well.
Actually,
So your internet connection is sandbagging me. Holy shit, how deep does it go?
there is a question here that's quite interesting, and I just want to cross-reference it because I haven't read it. So, just to cross-check, has anyone read Psyche Awakening 8?
Which one was that?
War of the Spider?
No.
Not all the way through, but bits and bobs.
Okay, just 'cause according to this question, Fabius Bile has, and I quote, completely lost interest in the Primaris Marines and chose instead to capture some Custodes and Sisters of Silence.
Interesting.
And they sort of go on to say, oh, are they going to create like an army of Custodes like warriors who were able to like use the untouchable, use their, who are also blanks, and just like, okay, interesting question. Untouchable custodians, that's a terrifying combination. But yeah, I just didn't know if that is something that people knew, or whether that was actually true, because I haven't read it myself, so I just wanted to ask.
It doesn't ring a bell, but again, as I said, I haven't read all the way through.
Actually, hang on a minute. There's another comment that follows up and says that Bile wasn't fighting Custodes because he's completely lost interest in the Primaris Marines. War with the Spider is about Bile allied with renegade Marines who offer protection against typhus after Bile stole a relic. But while he was fighting, the Imperials left with the Custodes, and the only corpses the book details him studying is one of the renegades. Never mind, maybe not. So I'm going
It was
to have
fun
to...
while it lasted.
That's just a reply to a comment, so I don't know who's actually right or to what extent anyone's right. I'm just pointing out that maybe that isn't what happened, but it's still an interesting theory. Like, what if Fabius Bile did get his hands on Custodes and Sisters of Silence now that they're out and about? Oh, God. Right, I'm going to go find another one. Well, since we've gone on so many tangents, we might as well finish on a tangential one. I think we might have had this one before, like way back, but I feel like I might as well ask it again. Just as a bit of fun, what theme song would you attach to each of the Primarchs? Serious or meme? Up to you.
Okay, well, I think the obvious choice is that Angron gets world eater by Bolt Thrower.
Yes.
He kind of has to, let's be bloody honest. Also, that is a banging song as well, I have to say.
When we did the Warhammer Records video, at the start of doing that, I'd listened to a bit of Bolt Thrower here and there, and I was like, yeah, it's not really my kind of thing. But by the end of it, I was like, no, actually, this album's really good.
Good.
Conrad Kurz is...
He get Nightcrawler by Judas Priest.
There's one comment here of Mortarion getting down with the sickness. which I quite approve of.
Yeah.
I can't help but assume...
Ross has to be the immigrant song.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Who?
Russ.
Ah.
Yeah, it has to be.
I imagine him having more something like, like Corpaclani or like Enslaved or something. Some proper Viking metal band or something, or folk metal.
You've either got to go one way or the other. So I would either say, yeah, the immigrant song, or I would say like Fernando by ABBA. Or something like that.
I'd give him Troll Hammering by Fintroll.
Fair.
Yeah, Corvus Corax would have the cure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You've been making that joke since the early days of Animaticus.
Oh yeah.
Just sit in my
Did
room.
somebody say anime?
I'm going to sit in my room and listen to The Cure. I remember that from Animaticus episode 3. We were talking about different War Masters. So yeah, that was a thing.
In fairness, I'm relating though. How long has it been since I made the joke of, hey kids, it's Corax?
Oh yes! Yes, sorry, that was a great joke. Surprise, it's Corax! Just the intonation was just perfect on it the first time. I do remember that. But yeah, I've been listening a bit to some of the old Civilization music, and the old Civ 4 theme, which is the Lord's Prayer in Swahili. With I feel like that fits with Lorgar because it's deification to song. I don't know. I don't know if that would work because it's also not edgy, and whilst Lorgar is less edgy than others, he's also not stupid edgy.
Can we give Sanguinius Ode to Joy?
Oh my god. See, whenever I hear that, all I can think of is winning a game in Peggle. So Sanguinius is just a huge Peggle fan as well. It's canon.
Okay.
I would say Gilliman needs Sharp Dressed Man. by ZZ Top. Everyone will disagree with my music choices, and I don't care.
You see, my problem here is that the music genre I am the most familiar with and can make the most references to is like third wave ska. And and that's just not edgy enough to even exist in like the Warhammer 40,000 universe.
I just put Smooth Criminal by Michael Jackson to bloody Alfarius. Or something like that.
And so Lionel Johnson is the animal I have become by, oh shit, what's that band name? Oh.
To be honest, I'm surprised you didn't just go for In the Jungle, The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
So
that's too easy.
One of the commenter did do that. They also came up with Howl at the Moon for Lehman Russ.
Yeah,
I thought the song was
get
Bark
that.
at the Moon.
I'm just reading the comments.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about the Aussie song, then yeah,
It's Bark at the Moon. Because he doesn't use ends.
A few others from the comments that might actually make any sense, I don't know. Ferris Manus gets Judas Priest, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll.
Oh, I just thought of a really good one. For Jagatai Khan, Highway to Hell.
Yes!
Yeah.
Because that would suit so hard.
Yeah, Highway to Hell works absolutely.
Oh, Rogel Dawn would be just another brick in the wall.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty. And Thunderstruck for the Thunder Warriors.
While Perturabo would have Chris Jericho's theme song, Break the Walls Down.
Break the Walls Down. Yes, well done. I like that one. Oh dear. But yes, let us know, comments. What is your favourite Primarch theme song idea that isn't just copying off one of us, because we've all come up with some really stupid ideas.
No, we've come up with amazing ones, and let's be honest, anything that you guys can come up with won't be as good as ours.
Yeah, Magnus would be walking like an Egyptian.
Way to motivate the engagement from the comments, Snipe.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the algorithm doesn't know if they're hate comments, so it still counts as engagement.
Yeah, if you piss everyone off and they dislike, that's still technically engagement.
Yeah, so I'm actually doing you a favour. This is just how I do my videos, apparently, where I just say something really, stupid and annoy people, and then I get more engagement, so...
Yeah. Oh, blimey, look at the time.
Oh, dang. Yeah, we have been tangenting pretty hard.
I'm not complaining though. Admittedly, I've not gone off full science mode like that in a damn long time, and it felt damn good to just go off like that. I won't lie.
No, it was awesome, and yeah, it was a tangent. But damn, I feel like in 10 years maybe I will have finally learned something, because it takes my brain that long to process new information.
And on that note. To quote Jeremy Clarkson's anyway, on that bombshell. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in for this episode of Adeptus Podcastus, and thank you very much to Snipe Wib for joining us at such short notice.
Thank you, we love hanging out and ruining your lovely podcast.
Now get us on yours so we can ruin yours.
Yes!
Oh, you can't ruin that mess.
Oh, I think we can.
That's a challenge that has been issued there.
To be honest, I can't. The only way I ruin shows is by being too much of a nerd and pulling everyone off in the wrong direction. So I can't even ruin it. I don't ruin much aside from my reputation and street cred. So.
To be fair, if you and Drum and Matt got together and talked about science, that would be like an 8-hour podcast. So just go. Just go with it. It sounds awesome.
That is.
So, until next time, this has been Remleiz and 40k Theories.
This has been Tactica Imperialis.
I've been Snipe.
And I've been Wib, I suppose.
And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.